Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am a color junkie. In this video we will be doing a couple things. I want to finally start this Enchanted Earth coloring book and of course color my first illustration from this book. I haven't decided which one as yet, and I have a very pleasant surprise for you and myself. I'm gonna be using, just guess, Prismacolor pencils. Yeah, I'm really happy about this purchase. I really should have done an unboxing, but you know the funny thing is, when I make a new purchase, it is really hard for me to not open the package, and I think it has to do with the fact that I'm excited about adult coloring, and when I get new things I behave like a big kid. I, however, will be able to do an unboxing for this set of Prismacolor pencils I recently got. Now, along with the unboxing, what I'll also do is a swatch of each of the pencils. Now, I got these two pencils because based on what I read, I figured the two actually complement each other. Now, this Prismacolor Premier set, these are actually soft core pencils, and what I'm realizing with the soft core pencils is that they do not do details very well. And when I did the flip through of Enchanted Earth, you would have seen that it's a very intricate illustration, and it is going to require some detail work. So these pencils are actually a harder core pencil, and I thought, based on what it is I read, that these two will complement each other perfectly. Now, that is in theory. Now let us find out if my assumptions are correct. So I'm starting with the unboxing of the Prismacolor Verithin pencils. I wonder if Verithin means that they are very thin. Verithin is actually spelled V-E-R-I-T-H-I-N, and I'm thinking that it's a play on words. I have not looked it up to see if it's an actual word. I will probably do so after this video. Alright, but these pencils, like I said before, are a harder core pencil compared to the Prismacolor Premier pencils. And you saw me struggling with that box because the box is actually created in such a way that you can make a stand out of it so that the pencils can stand vertically. Now, what I noticed is that the pencils are not sharpened. So I had to sharpen all 36 pencils, and I'm just showing you here the amount of work it took to prepare my pencils. Now, another thing that I am not quite pleased with is that none of the Prismacolor pencils came with a swatch chart. What I'm doing now is actually creating a swatch chart, and it's a very simple swatch chart. I did it this way so that it would be less time consuming. I actually delayed in doing the swatch chart because I felt overwhelmed, having to sharpen the pencils and then create this swatch chart of each of the pencils, and it's actually 36 in each set. Now, I started with the Verithin, the Prismacolor Verithin pencils, and if you notice, I'm doing the swatches in small circles, and like I said, I'm trying to use my time efficiently. So we're going to move on to the Prismacolor Premier pencils, which are the softer core pencils, and I'm doing the same thing that I did with the Verithin pencils. And like I said, I'm trying to be efficient with time. And of course, I'm using my fine liner pens. I think this is probably the second time you're seeing me using them. You know what? Let me correct myself. It's the first time you're seeing me using them, but they were included in my art supply showcase video that was done earlier this year. So now that I'm finished with my swatch chart, I am about to color my illustration, and I chose this particular illustration because you actually have 4 small illustrations here, and because I'd already spent so much time preparing the pencils and the swatch chart, I wanted something that would be a lot easier for me to color at this stage. Now, of course, what I normally do is start with the lightest color first. So I started with a very light blue, and I think I used 3 different blues to do the lake that you're seeing here. And of course, I have my kneaded eraser in use. For those of you who are not familiar with a kneaded eraser, there it is on the screen, looking like putty. Now, the thing with the kneaded eraser is that you can shape it in any way you like to erase the colored pencil. I decided to use a kneaded eraser because the pencil eraser you normally see me with, it's getting really short, and because these illustrations are very intricate, which means that the spaces in between the drawings is very small, I thought that the kneaded eraser would provide me with the reach I would need without disturbing the areas that were already colored. Hope that makes sense too. So as we go along, I am filling in the trees. I probably used 4 or 5 different greens, and of course, when I first chose the colors, I think I may have missed a particular item that should be colored, and because of that I had to consult with my swatch chart. And as I have said before in previous videos, I like having my swatch chart so that I can see what the color looks like on paper. Now I'm trying to finish up the landscape or the greenery with the various greens that I have chosen. Also, please note that all the colors I have used are listed in the description below if you are so inclined. Also, another thing that I have observed with the Prismacolor soft core pencils is that they go on buttery smooth. I think they go on a lot smoother than the Sucolor pencils. Now, the Prismacolor pencils are supposed to be professional pencils, and they tend to be pricey, which is why I only got the 36 count set. I got that size mainly to test it to see if it actually lives up to the hype, and I am very pleased with the Prismacolor pencils, in particular the soft core pencils, because it has a very rich pigment. I think because of the softness of the core, it makes it a lot easier for you to blend these pencils. And I'm not saying that the Sucolor pencils do not blend as readily as the Prismacolor, but I think that the Prismacolors blend better than the Sucolor pencils. What I've noticed with the Sucolor pencils is that there is a lot of wax bloom. I did not notice that with the Prismacolor pencils. I don't know if I didn't notice it because this is the first time I'm using them, and it's on a very tiny illustration. But what I will do going forward, on this same page, I will select one of the 3 remaining illustrations and color it with the Sucolor pencil so we can do a comparison. Also, I have been using the Verithin pencils interchangeably with the soft core pencils to complete the finer details of the illustration. I can now safely conclude that the Verithin pencils perfectly complement the soft core pencils. So I'm now doing the background, and as you all know, I fear doing backgrounds. I think in the initial stages I chose the wrong color for the background, and because of that I had to go back in with the eraser and remove some of that blue and replace the blue with carmine red to give a sunset appearance. I'm sure you can see that, I'm struggling with this background, but here I am coloring the background with the carmine red, and once I'm through with the carmine red, I am going to use a blender. No, I do not have a Prismacolor blender. What I have is a Color blender, and I do not know if that affected the blending adversely. Initially, when I started out with the blending, it looked nice, but I noticed that when I tried to photograph the picture, it has a cloudy appearance. I'm thinking I may have to try the Prismacolor blenders to see if the blending has a different result. So far, I am pretty pleased with what I am seeing. It's not perfect, and understandably so, because this is the first time I'm using the Prismacolor pencils, and they are probably the softest core pencils I've used so far, and this is gonna take a little getting used to, but I appreciate what's happening here, and I hope you do too. Now I'm gonna finish up the water with my white pen to give it a more realistic, should I say realistic? Does it look realistic? Nah, it doesn't look realistic. Yeah, but it looks like water now. That's what I think. Alright guys, thank you so much for sticking through this video with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.